I got bad news, guys. I have a potentially fatal tummy ache. Is a new video fixed? Yes. So guys, my video for the Mile High Club got demonetized, and I was pissed. I was angry. So the reason why I was so pissed is because I uploaded this video like 4 times. Make slight changes, like remove a little section, change a few little wording or whatever. Nothing that would matter for the sensors, for the AI. And so the AI cleared it 4 separate times. It's set up there in members, which goes through checks for like 3 days, right? Getting feedback. At no point in time did YouTube suggest they had any problems with this video. Then like 15 hours after release publicly, they demonetized it and age-gated it. I was livid. I was like, I gave you every opportunity to say you weren't a fan of this video. Why wait until it's public when I can't fix it? You know? And the reason was obvious, is because it has some swearing in it, don't get me wrong, but there's like under 10, and it's in a very innocuous way or whatever, like it's not sexual or anything like that. It's because Mile High Club alludes to the act of having sex on a plane. And STD contractors, the STD clearly stands for something else, we don't know what it is, but it doesn't stand for sexually transmitted disease. In fact, sexually transmitted infection is what's most commonly used these days. But so some human sense has been like, oh, these are bad words, but in the video's context, it doesn't matter, you know? The problem is though, now they've gone to all the effort for this video. See, like, so this is where it was nuked. It's like, oh, we're doing well. Look, we'll come up like up here, like higher than this goes. Demonetized, age gated. Bah. It's more the age gating more than the demonetization that hits it. So it does 2 things. It limits people under the age of 18 from watching the video, but it also limits people who aren't logged in from watching the video. One of the biggest reasons why Mr. Beast does so well, and everyone in that kind of tens of millions of views domain does well, is because they are the first people presented to new accounts on YouTube and accounts that aren't logged in. My content is too niche. It's not super mainstream that everyone would enjoy it. And so I don't get that. These guys can release absolute crap. Not that they do, but they could, and it would still get tens of millions of views, at least in the short term, because it goes to those people. And so losing those people in any capacity for me was just bah. And then this was undemonetized, unage-gated, bah. And now it's sitting kind of comfy here. The problem with this video though is the retention is low. I think it's the premise and title is carrying it, but it's not sitting in the normal retention that I have for this video. So the retention up here is like facts and glitches. Facts and glitches sits at like 60% retention. And that's disappointing. It's funny though, because I feared this would happen. I said to Will before the video came out, I'm like, look, I think I lingered too long in this intro. Like, I think the information is relevant, but the video kind of has 2 different intros. I linger on like Devon Western a little bit too long. All of it important information. Like, it makes the video better as an informational source. But I think the video would have benefited from a rewrite of the intro and cutting off like 3 minutes. You know, you don't want to like cut your child or whatever. It's just like, this is what I really wish I put in that pass, just even that one line where I said, the Devon Western owns Skyrocketed Construction. He owns Skyrocketed Construction, and they own many of the construction vehicles in the game. I could have been like, hey, look, that's how involved Devon Western is in construction, but I didn't put that in. Sending an email to the builder of my house about the water leakage. For those who weren't here for it, I'll show you just before I begin the experience I had a couple of nights ago. So this is like the bottom of my wall, and here's just water coming out of it. And so, because it was down so low, I had to spend my time taking a garbage bag, putting it under it, letting the water go in the garbage bag, then like shimmying it up and just filling the garbage bag with water for like an hour. But it also started to come through the light. Obviously not ideal. And now it's a matter of fixing things so it won't happen again, basically. I didn't want to shower in my kitchen, no. And it was, yeah, a lot of water. It was basically this area of my outside water was pooling in it in a way that it wasn't meant to. I don't know why. Well, we kind of know why, but like it's just not designed in the best way, so it needs to be fixed. And so I've gone onto the builder, and yeah, they're gonna look at it. You should brag to those accountants how your Counter-Strike investments have gone up more than any single stock or crypto. I just had a DM about that actually. I can show this right, yeah. Here is my Steam inventory. It was worth $4,527 for like forever. So that's like three years. Well, actually it went up by like 50% in 4 years. Then blah! And you know the reason? It's because there was a point where I was trying to trade up for this cool weapon, and it only had like a 15% chance to succeed, and I failed a bunch of times, wasting a heap of money. I don't know why I was doing that, but that's what I did. And yeah, unfortunately it's dipped back down a bit. But the consequence of that is I have a bunch of reds. And so people use these reds to trade up for stuff. And they also have very low floats. That's a very low float, right? Like the 0-0. These ones that people want more. Like, does this factor in that, or can I overpay just because it has 0-0?
If you get double O float red, it's worth more.
Yeah, it's 0-0. It's gone up $1,000 since yesterday. Oh my god. I'm gonna potentially cash out.
Did you play CS:GO or only skins?
I played some CS:GO, but I was just messing around with skins one day, like 4 years ago. Do I go to the gym? These days I swim. I don't do it enough. Like, I'm probably swimming like, I don't know, 20 minutes every second day or something, which is way too little. It's better than what I was doing for the previous couple of years, which was nothing. Oh, and I skip rope. Because one thing I'm afraid of happening is losing my bone density as I get older. Apparently, like, it's impossible to avoid, but if you do weight-bearing exercises, you don't lose as much, or you sustain more, or whatever. Weight is in, like, you're putting, like, the weight of gravity on your body, basically. And jumping rope does that. Swimming is good, works most muscle groups, exactly. I'm not sure how scientific the test was or whatever, but they tested what's, like, the best cardio. And first was, like, incline training or something, like where you like running up a hill or something. The second best was swimming, but swimming was the most fun and the best for your joints. I did a rare thing yesterday, chat, where I yapped about politics a bit in the last run. And one of the things I said is that taxation for the average worker is better in California than it is in Texas. Texas's lower tax rates are generally for the more wealthy, and the wealthy make up a lesser portion of their tax revenue. And someone pushed back at me on that, and I was like, yeah, maybe it was the last time I heard that, maybe a few years ago. Like, I've been hearing that my entire life from various different sources, but it was a few years ago. So I quickly paused and threw into ChatGPT, like, yo, what's up with this? And it said, nah, I don't think you're out on that. And I'm like, all right, well, and so I apologized on stream, said maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was a long time, years ago. But then after the stream, because I had more time, I actually wrote a full question. And what was the question I asked? I said, what percent of the budget of each is paid for by each quintile of income earners? And so it turns out I was right. My first question was incorrect. California is highly progressive. The top quintile pays the vast majority of all taxes. Texas is much less progressive. The tax burden is spread more evenly across incomes. So like the middle income in Texas is paying 12-15%. The middle is paying 7-10% in California. And so the second lowest paying more, and even the poorest is paying more in Texas than in here. But the rich, though, are paying significantly less. That's why you hear about rich people and companies and stuff moving to Texas out of California. Because Texas, no sales tax, so they rely on sales taxes and property taxes. Those hit lower and middle incomes harder. That's what I've heard my entire life. And so I shouldn't have doubted myself. I should have, though, because, I can be wrong about stuff.
Your first mistake is believing ChatGPT.
So this isn't something I'm believing from ChatGPT. This is something I've heard consistently my entire life. Well, like the last 10 years. Over and over and over again. This isn't like information I've just now gotten from ChatGPT. It's telling me information I already knew. It's just initially I asked the wrong question.
That's fair, I just am heavily against AI.
You're heavily against AI? I understand. I am less, I don't know, the text generation stuff is less of a concern to me. In large part just because it kind of works the same way as Google. So a funny story for you guys. Yesterday, I got a message from someone at Amazon inviting me to a premiere of the new Sherlock Holmes series. When I went to the Fallout one, it was nice and it's good people. So this is so I was like, oh, let's go to this. And it's a black tie event, right? I mean, because Sherlock Holmes, fancy British Englishman or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll go. And so it was gonna be today, which was tomorrow from yesterday. And I go out and buy myself a suit for $1,000. Shirt, top, pants, tie, kerchief. Then I get home and I sit down on my chair and I got a text message from the same Amazon woman. And she's like, just checking, you gonna be here soon? And I'm like, what? So both I and Daytana had misread the date of the invite. The invite was for yesterday, not today. The reason why we were confused is because the show comes out today. So it starts off by being like, to celebrate Sherlock Holmes coming out 4th of March, and then continues. And then it says like down the bottom, this evening. And we missed it saying this evening. So I spent $1,000 on a suit that I didn't even get to wear.
Yeah, I guess you got to return the suit.
Yeah, Tana said she could return the suit for me today. At the same time, I was like, nah. I guess it's about time that I have a suit. And I'm sure I'll get other opportunities to wear it. Because I went to all the effort to figure out like what size I was for the suit and what shirt would fit me. What if I lose weight and that doesn't fit me? Nah, that won't happen. I've already lost quite a bit of weight and it's hard to imagine my size changing. Hey, so fun fact. little bit of a story. How many years ago was it? A year and a half ago, maybe, or something like that? I was looking into other platforms to live stream on, and I basically did them all. So I was like live streaming on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, to expand from YouTube and Twitch. This is, it's like 2 years ago. And as you know, I ended up live streaming on TikTok. So I'm getting like, 200 to 300 viewers fairly consistently on TikTok. We like the TikTok people here. And the other platforms didn't end up working out. Twitter was so low quality, can't be used. Instagram, again, so low quality, can't be used, but also they only allow 9:16. Facebook though, did work, but we couldn't figure out how to monetize the platform. Everything that I found suggested to me that, you just had to get lucky, that you got added to the program or something. I was like, oh, well, that's pretty shit. And so we just kind of gave up on it. But yesterday, I can't remember the exact reason. I was looking into my Facebook and I'm like, oh shit, I got invited to the Facebook monetization program. That's cool. I was like, that's great. And the reason why it happened is because all of my shorts that I've been posting on Instagram have been automatically posting to Facebook. I did intentionally set that up. I just didn't think it would really lead to anything. And so for many, many months, I've been slowly gaining a following on Facebook. And I now have 45,000 followers. And there are some shorts with like over 1 million views. And so I turned on monetization yesterday and I've made $8 in 12 hours. Let's go. Big money. Nah, but ultimately, based off my views, it's not going to be like an insane amount of money. But now that I'm monetized and it can accept 16:9 content, I'll probably start uploading my stuff more intentionally to the platform. And we'll see how that goes. But I'm also going to start live streaming now, especially because multi-streaming is effortless. Facebook is actually even easier to live stream than TikTok. With that being said, there was only like 8 months there where content was actually uploaded. But to put that into perspective, I got that amount this month on YouTube from Shorts. So, a bit of a difference. Guys, I got some great news. As you guys know, I recently got monetized on Facebook, and I'm in some big money right now, guys. Like, how much do you think I've made on Facebook in a day? Peaking at $40. And is this Australian dollars? It probably is, which makes it even worse. But I mean, an extra $40 a day, like that's like $1,200 a month or whatever, right? So, I mean, hey, why not? It's money that's generated from my shorts being put on Instagram and then auto cross-posting to Facebook. I was gonna put some effort into putting my long form videos on here as well, but I've only done 2 and I'm not sure it's been worth it so far. They haven't been up long enough for me to know. Where is one of my long form videos here? One I uploaded yesterday has like, I don't know, 2,000 views or something. We'll see. I'm getting so annoyed with TikTok. I'm becoming more aware of how annoyed I am at TikTok because of now I'm getting paid on Facebook. Even if it's a small amount of money, I'm getting no money on TikTok. So I'm getting like 10 million views or something. I'm getting like 30 million views a month or something and getting $0. Bad zero. Because I'm not American. Understand, the majority of my audience is American. Overwhelmingly American. The same portion is in my YouTube channel as well. There's no reason why I should not be getting paid, but TikTok's just like, no. For so many years, they were like, oh yeah, we'll put Australia in the creator program, don't you worry. But they never did. And so looking into all these ways of how to get paid by like moving country and stuff. But the difficulty is that there's no certain way to do things. And it's technically against TOS to like pretend to be in another country to get monetization. But at this point, like they've broken like the contract, the trust contract. Like they made a dozen claims that were lies. It shouldn't be wrong for someone to do this shit. Because if they're not going to let us be on the monetization platform and we're just going to work for free forever, like it's bullshit. There are steps that you can take to make an American account and start posting on it. You can even buy accounts that are already monetized. But the difficulty is getting an already existence Australian account changed to the US. Like obviously it must be possible because like what if you moved to the US and actually lived there? Part of me wants to just live in America for 3 months because like TikTok is really anal about making sure you're not pretending to be in a country that you're not actually in. So like they look at your signals of like what you're watching and all this other information and stuff. And if I've actually lived in America, I could be like, yeah, I'm actually living in here. So like, change it. Does one of my moms live in the US? Yeah. It's just like I'd have to stop live streaming on TikTok. Because like, if you log in even once from a non-American account, TikTok is like, oh, you're not actually in America. Prepare to be kicked into the sun. A normal VPN doesn't work, or normally using a VPN doesn't work because they can see that your IP address matches like all these other people's IP addresses. Like when you use a VPN and go to certain websites, they're like, are you sure you're human? Because they can tell that you're using a VPN or like you're using an IP address that a lot of people use. But you can get like dedicated IP addresses from VPNs, like paid ones, like as I have, to use it. But again, the problem with doing that is most of what I'm doing doesn't need to be in America. It'd be very hard to live stream on the 4 platforms that I'm live streaming on through a VPN that's in America. It would add latency to everything that I do. Like, understand, if I knew for certain I was going to be making many tens of thousands of dollars doing all this effort, sure, I might go to that effort, but I don't know if that's the case. I don't know how much money I'd make, especially because a lot of my stuff isn't over a minute, which is what it needs to be to get monetization on TikTok these days. So I could go to all this effort for nothing, or basically nothing. Talk to use creators with a similar size. It's not about size, it's about the type of content that you make. TikTok is very strange. They don't pay for every view, they pay for qualifying views. I have a question. If I gave you a button and told you if you press it, you get $12 million, but every time you do, some random dies, are you still pressing the button? No. Only because I'm already pretty wealthy. I could definitely use $12 million. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I imagine if you ask a person in a massive amount of debt or who has nothing, if they'll do that, they'll probably say yes. But me, you know, I'm doing well in life. I don't need to randomly kill someone for money. It's in a way that we all indirectly harm others all the time in what we do. You get a job and, you know, someone else is going to get that job, but now they're not. And obviously, it's not the exact same equivalence as pressing a button to directly kill someone you don't know or a stranger or whatever. But I'm sure that's how it would be rationalized, right? If random was the off-putting thing here, killing certain people is welcome. I mean, if it's like, you know, you press a button and you kill a murderer, or you kill a pedophile, or you kill someone who's like on death's door, very different situation, right? Be a random, and it could be a monkey paw kind of situation where you're the one who dies, right? So the last Facts and Glitches episode that came out, people were like, this feels like the facts about Aunt Denise that you don't know. I was like, yeah, maybe I should have spread those out between some episodes or something. I don't know. I thought they all kind of made sense going together. Like that hangouts that Lamar has with Trevor. Like he says that, you know, love has no boundaries or blah, 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 whatever he says. It's unclear whether he means like actual love, you know? Because you can use love in many different ways. Love is in like romance or, you know, sexual attraction or whatever. Like I don't think he like I mean, they probably would have gotten married or whatever if he like was truly in love with Aunt Denise, but he's like into her, you know? I think it's kind of how I interpreted that. I think he's just mocking. Nah, he says too much stuff. It means love isn't really horny. Yeah, I think he digs her. Like, you know, not in that kind of I'm gonna get married way, but like I'm into Aunt Denise, you know? Yeah, the hangouts between Lamar and Trevor are interesting because they kind of go back and forth on like, man, I love how much we're friends, bro. This is so good. Like, man, we're so just in vibe with each other. And then the next time they'll be like, man, you're cringe. What's wrong with you, dude? Why are you so fucking crazy? Or like, why are you so stupid, Lamar? What is this? Because Lamar and Trevor vibe well, but obviously they're very like different people from different walks of life. Lamani's baddie looking girl, can't imagine Denise. It was originally intended for, I mean, I put it in that video, didn't I? That Denise was more gonna be like an actual, like involved in the gang chick, not some frumpy homebody aunt, as she ends up being, right? Or she maybe ended up being both, like a bit more of a multi-dimensional character. So I finished the Facts and Glitches episode, then ordered myself a little bit of pizza, and then I ate a lot of pizza. So to be clear, I've been like starving myself for weeks for my suit fitting, and it turned out I didn't even get measured that day. We just picked out all the stuff that I was gonna do, all the stuff I was gonna get for the suit, right? You guys don't want to know the price of this suit. You don't want to know it. It'll make you sick. To put it this way, Aitana and I both tried to guess the cost of the suit. It was double the cost that we predicted. Guy was very nice though, and he's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. Like, oh, really? That's cool. What for what? And I'm like, GTA? And he's like, GTA? Actually, you do look kind of familiar. And I'm like, oh, you know, probably seen my short or something. He's like, oh, yeah, you're cool, man. And at the end, he's like, oh, can I get to your YouTube, like, just to check you out or whatever? And he pulls me up. He's like, oh, shit, I do remember you. It's like, he's like 2 years ago, I got recommended with your videos, and I just went like in a huge rabbit hole with your stuff for a while. I was like, oh, sweet. That was cool. But as I say, I didn't get measured for the suit that day. He's like, we could do it close to the wedding because you never know if you're going to lose more weight or gain weight or something, and you get the suit tailored, and then it doesn't fit. You know, yes, that's my suit story. And so because of my starving myself for the suit unnecessarily, I ordered myself like 2 pieces. They're technically medium pieces, but these are big pizzas. And it was some of the best pizza I've ever tasted. Maybe because I hadn't had pizza in a while, I'm not sure. But delicious. One thing though, I also got myself a small mango gelato. I was like, well, kind of overindulged in the pizza here. I'll just leave it on my table. It turned out it was broken. Had a huge crack in it. I know I didn't notice. I was working too hard. This whole thing, then eventually I just look over and I'm like, oh, the gelato just melted all over my table. Kind of like a crack all through it. And so when it melted, it just went all over my table. And then my table's sticky. Here's my story. And now I'm going to place Let's Buy It 2 because I'm sad. Because I ate too much and I lost my gelato. Hi! Getting to the end of a Viper Rambles episode proves that you like me and my work far more than the average person. Given that, it's possible that you might find value in becoming a YouTube member. Members get early access to all my videos, including Rambles, as well as access to my growing library of re-uploaded deleted videos, 5% off my merch, and the ability to leave comments and feedback before public release, which is incredibly helpful for me and my team. You also get a cute badge next to your name, so I can easily identify you in my comment section and live stream chats, and you can also use all my cute emotes everywhere on the channel. Lastly, after 3 months of being a member, you can submit on my Discord to join my GTA Online crew. Thanks for the consideration, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you enjoy future ones as well.